Well, that's already annoying. There's some rustling around in the boot. It's never straightforward, is it? Anyway, right. Hello and welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well. Hopefully this time I won't be saying as much or doing exactly what I've just done and had a massive pause while I'm trying to drive. So this video has already failed for me. I hope you're all doing well anyway. I hope you're all enjoying the British summer or wherever you're from. There's quite a few people from the United States who actually watch this channel, which is nice, and Germany. So that's always good. There's the again. I'm really going to try and stop doing that. No one's really complained about it, but it bugs me. Anyway, so today, a little bit of a story time, really. So I want to tell you about how I made, as you can read by the title, £2.5 million for somebody else. Now that is a lot of money, and unfortunately none of it, well, barely any of it was for me. So we're just going to go to that. It might be interesting for some of you to learn. It's kind of outing the company that I worked for as well, so if I get in trouble for that, then hey ho. So a bit of a background, not check, but background lesson, shall we say. I used to work, well, when I was 16, I got my first job in a restaurant. Why is the guy behind me just stopped? Like, you can go through that lane, mate. You've got plenty of room. There we go. Anyway, so yeah, I used to work at a restaurant. Not very exciting stuff. Used to, you know, they used to do birthday parties and well, it's a restaurant and a function hall, so they had like 3 big rooms that you could rent out for weddings or birthday parties, any sort of celebration, that kind of stuff. I used to work there. Started out with doing like plates and stuff, just running plates out, doing the odd bit of cutlery. Indicate please would be nice. And then I ended up probably like a year and a half later, kind of not managing it, but I was like a team leader kind of level, doing bits and bobs, you know, actually running the functions, doing smaller functions like birthday parties on my own, that kind of thing. Anyway, a year and a half later, left there and got my first retail job. Now, I won't really go into this too much because I feel like this is definitely another video potential if you want to know it. If you do want to know it, leave a comment down below if you want to know about this story. I'm going to turn the heated seats off. So I went to work at John Lewis. Woo! The fancy John Lewis, which is now actually unfortunately closed down in York due to, well, the building that they had they didn't own. They rented it from a company called well, I don't know if they're actually called Vanguard, but the centre's called Vanguard, and they rented the building. And I know for a fact that their turnover from there wasn't very high, and I know that the rent on that was ridiculous. And they've recently built a £50 million pound building in Leeds, which is half an hour, and it's way bigger and way nicer. So unfortunately it has now closed. So if you're watching this and you worked at that John Lewis York store, I do apologise and I feel for you. Long story short, after 2 years of working there, I got fired for being dyslexic. So like I say, if you want to know that story, do let me know in the comments, and I'll do a video on that story as well. 6 months later, after trying to battle that, didn't work out, I got a job at Curry's PC World, which is where the journey begins. So in John Lewis, I don't know why, I've always been quite a good salesman. And I don't know if it's just because I'm honest with people, or if people trust me, I don't know. But on my first day of working at John Lewis, bear in mind I had no sales experience, I managed to sell like a good few £1,000s worth of stuff. And then Black Friday, which is one of the busiest days of the year, and that was a week after my first day, like bang on a week, I was the top salesman in John Lewis York, across all departments. I think I did like 15 grand in one day. So yeah, always been quite naturally good at selling. And then, so when I went over to PC World, I was actually brought in to sell broadband. We'd got to the point where I needed to get some form of cash income. This is going back, what are we on now, 2021, 4 or 5 years? 4 years, yeah, 4 years. So yeah, I very good salesman. Started selling broadband. So Curry's PC World used to sell broadband packages, and I mean it was literally it doesn't matter if people are going in there to buy a toaster, you've got to try and sell them Wi-Fi. So I'll try and let you work out the connection there. And bear in mind, no toasters are Wi-Fi enabled. Well, it might be the odd one, but we didn't sell them. Just gonna move over for this bike to come by. Yeah, so that was my first role at Curry's. I haven't had a very good history with Curry's actually. Just thinking about it now. So yeah, I got to be one of the best salesmen in the region. Ended up helping running and managing the region from the York branch still, which was an interesting experience because half the people in there, I wouldn't say unfortunately, but it was through an agency, so it wasn't like, I feel like quite a few people who were there had to be there, questionably for community service or something like that, something along those lines. We won't really go into it too much. Are you in a hurry, mate? Hey up, mate! Oh, we are in a hurry, aren't we? Anyway, yeah. Why are you half in my lane and half not? There you go, well done. Well done. Honestly, York drivers at the moment, awful. Since the shops have opened up, shocking, everywhere. Yes, so I started helping manage the region. Then probably about, I think it was about 6 months into that. Yeah, about 6 months into that. And that was a really good job. It was well paid. Say it's through an agency, it was well paid. Commission was high. Like, I got a decent amount. So it wasn't like my manager was selling me, my manager got on really well. Excuse me. Yeah, so that was like a good job to get back into, especially from losing my job at John Lewis. Because I went from nothing to 6 months where I'd got into debt and had to owe my grandparents money because they had to help me get through because I was stupid and got things on finance. Oh, I keep burping now, I ate some Doritos on the way out. Bad idea. So yeah, this job kind of like helped almost recoup from the last 6 months. Anyway, after the 6 months of working there, I found out that we were all being made redundant because what PC World were doing is they were paying this agency to pay us to do our job, but PC World actually realised that it should be the sales staff who already worked there that should be selling the broadband because it's part of PC World's stuff. So yeah, we got made redundant. I don't even know if this is necessary, but I went to Maplins for 3 hours, and that's not a lie. I won't spread that into a different video. But yeah, I got offered a store manager job at Maplins, which is literally right next door. So I moved next door, spoke to a guy he was a really nice guy, and then the moths started to turn up, and I mean literally moths. It was a tiny store. They had barely any turnover. One of the sales guy came in, he started having a wee-wee, and that's not French, with the toilet door open, and I was on the shop floor, and I could hear him weeing from the shop floor. So it wasn't exactly a good experience. And then I looked at like a drone that they had for sale, which was £1,000, which PC World sold quite a few of, and they said they'd had it on there for 3 years and never sold one, and it was taking up a good, like, I'd say 1/10 of the shop display. So I left within 3 hours, literally went round to the existing store manager was handing over to me, and I said, thanks very much, but no, don't worry about paying me. Went back to PC World, spoke to one of the managers there, and I said, look, I'm really upset, you know I am, can I have a job please? Thankfully, he said yes, and then my journey properly within PC World began. So I won't get into like the nitty gritty, but I sold TVs. We were targeted, if you'd believe it or not, on selling HDMI cables. £70 HDMI cables. Now, if you've had a bad experience with PC World, I fully understand. Please do not leave it in the comments saying, oh my god, I'm one of those people. I never actually was one of the bad people who kind of like tried to flog HDMI cables on people, and I didn't try and tell them that they're better than the HDMI cables, whatever. If they needed a HDMI cable, I would sell them one. That was it. It wasn't like you need this because of some bullshit. Anyway, in my first year, I did £1.41 million in sales, which is a ridiculous amount of money. So that was all obviously for PC World, and I was on minimum wage, I think. Oh no, I was on minimum wage plus a 50p location allowance, 50p per hour location allowance, because the York store was seen as rural, even though it no longer is. So they still get a location allowance. So I had minimum wage plus 50p extra an hour. So it wasn't a lot of money. So yeah, first year I did 1.41 million in sales. From that, I earned, are you ready? Drum roll please. If I can find a drum roll sound, I'll edit it in now. But there we go, drum roll sound. Wonderful. £1,400 in a year is what I made from selling £1.41 million for PC World. Second year, bear in mind, I was blindsided because, like, you're selling all this money and like you see all this money on your figures and like 1.4 million, you're like, wow, I'm gonna be rich, but no. Yeah, so I stayed there for another, I think it was another 10 or 11 months. I quit just before the end of my second year, sorry. And second year, when I left, I'd done 1.35 million, so I was on track for the same amount. Nice Nissan GTR. Will we hear it? No. Great. I was hoping for content then. Anyway, yeah, so second year, did 1.35 million when I'd left. I left because like I literally saw how much money I wasn't making and how much I was making for someone else, and it's an awful feeling making 2.5 million for someone else. If you do the maths on it, it works out. I made like £2,500 over 2 years extra for doing 2.5 million, which works out at 0.01%, I think, or is it 0.001%? It's something horrible if you actually work out the maths on it. Horrible number. So that is why I left, as you can imagine. I don't really want, I'm not going to go into like details of like Currys and like all the stuff that they like try and force you to sell now. I do know because I've had some great memories there, and I've made some very good friends from there. Which I haven't really spoken to in 2 years now. Yeah. Anyway, made some great memories, and I felt, from what I've heard, they have now changed. So you do actually now get more. You get more commission essentially. But it's not commission; it's just like bonus. You get more commission on what you sell, and you get more from selling like the add-ons. Which it's still not right, but you're no longer that's it. You're no longer targeted on them, which is great. Like you can just sell just a TV if they want other stuff, and you do get extra for it. So kudos for Currys for actually turning that around. Currys and PC World, if you're unfamiliar, is now the same company. Currys is a department of PC World. But yeah, that is it. After Currys, I went and did. I was a marketing executive at a classic and sports car company. Which was a good experience, learned a lot. Left after 3 months because I decided I wanted to do my own thing, and here we are. I'm now a fully fledged, Jesus. Now a professional automotive photographer. I haven't worked in probably about, I've had the odd bit over the last year, but due to COVID I haven't worked properly for a year. I was full on for 2 years, and then haven't done anything for the last 9 or 10 months. So it's been a bit rough, but that is what I do now. Some of you might be interested. He's loving life. That kid, he was bobbing up and down. I respect his energy. Wish I had that kind of energy. I need another coffee. So yeah, that was my my lovely story of how I made 2.5 million in 2 years for somebody else. Title's a bit clickbait. Well, it's not really. It's exactly what it says. But I did make 2.5 million pounds for someone else. If you like this video, hit that subscribe and like button down below. if you want to hear about the John Lewis story, if you enjoyed this, then again leave a comment below and I'll get around to doing that. Hopefully it'll be interesting for you. I will see you all in the next video. I feel like I've got something else to say, but I honestly can't remember. There's people enjoying the docks there, that's nice. Yeah, are you crossing? You are crossing. Come on, mate. Hurry up. Hurry up. Your bike's very blue and yellow. Anyway. Yeah, that is it for this video. If you didn't like it, oh, I've already said all that stuff. I don't know why I'm trying to sell myself to you. Yeah, hopefully if we get enough subscribers on this channel, I might actually be able to recoup some of that 2.5 million that I made for somebody else, and you know, maybe this will all be worth it in the end. More videos coming soon, getting the RS6 soon as well, and the TTRS, and a Porsche 718 GTS, I think. Or it's definitely a Cayman GTS, I don't know if it's a 718 or not. But yeah, stick around for those, and I'll see you in the next video.